Chapter 2351. Intoxicated 2. Rendezvous had been very anxious. He was worried about Yi Qing and had hurried over to find Wu Fengling as a reinforcement. But when he returned, the bloodbath he had been expecting had not occurred. What they saw was Yi Qing standing on the platform refining an elixir. Meanwhile, Zhu Ning and the other medicine faculty teachers were watching him with intoxicated expressions. Rendezvous, wasn't there supposed to be a challenge going on? Could he have been hallucinating? Is this what you mean by life-threatening? Wu Fengling raised an eyebrow at his disciple. Rendezvous, he was worried Wu Fengling wouldn't come with him, so he claimed that Yi Qing's life would be in danger if he didn't come. But now, who could tell him what was happening? Wu Fengling glanced at the despondent expression of his disciple before walking over to the platform. The students respectfully gave way when they saw Wu Fengling approaching. Meanwhile, the teachers on the platform appeared oblivious to Wu Fengling's arrival. Their eyes never left Yi Qing. "Elder Zhu, you guys are—" Wu Fengling tried to ask what was happening. But before he could complete his sentence, Zhu Ning shot him a cold, angry look. Wu Fengling, all right, he would have to ask later. Wu Fengling had come to prevent some major catastrophe, but he ended up watching Yi Qing refine elixirs together with a bunch of teachers. He was amused, but also rather mystified. It seemed that Yi Qing also knew how to refine elixirs. Furthermore, Wu Fengling was rather amazed at the sight of Zhu Ning's focused expression. Zhu Ning had told him before that apart from his grandmaster disciple, he could not bear to watch anyone else refine elixirs. But now, Zhu Ning was watching very intently. When Wu Fengling tried to speak, it was like he had committed a heinous crime. If anything, Wu Fengling felt that the situation was rather incredulous. Time passed by the second that stretched into lengthy minutes. By the time Yi Qing finally extinguished the flame in her palm, a pale green elixir was left behind in her hand. At the same time, countless sighs could be heard. Yi Qing instinctively turned to see. Zhu Ning and the rest of the medicine faculty teachers had somehow come over to her side. Those folks looked as if they were hankering for more. Yi Qing was stunned. "Teacher Zhu," Yi Qing asked, weren't they competing? Why did her opponent suddenly come over to her side? Zhu Ning shook his head with a sigh. He closed his eyes, as if re-immersing himself in what he just witnessed. That lingering feeling. It was not enough. How many years had it been since? He was finally experiencing that feeling again. It was like when he just started learning alchemy and was watching famous alchemists refining elixirs. "I have lost." Zhu Ning opened his eyes, but there were no signs of anger. He looked at Yi Qing with a humbled expression. In front of everyone, he suddenly gave Yi Qing a deep bow. "I have been obsessed with alchemy for many years, so much so that I appear to have lost the stability of my mind. I seem to have forgotten that there would always be someone better in this world." Everyone was dumbstruck by Zhu Ning's bow. The medicine faculty students were in a complete daze. Zhu Ning lost? Lost without even putting up a fight? Impossible. Yi Qing saw that Zhu Ning had already extinguished the fire in his tripod. "Teacher Zhu, you didn't finish refining your elixir?" Zhu Ning replied in an embarrassed tone. "That's right. When I saw the way you refined, I knew that I had already lost. There's no point in me continuing the process." Chapter 2352. Intoxicated 3. At this stage, Zhu Ning was full of shame and regret. All these years, he had been obsessed with alchemy and researched it all his life, giving it his everything. That was why he detested people who didn't take elixir refinement seriously. Previously, Yi Qing's bold claims made Zhu Ning believe that he was just an ignorant layman, and this unfounded dislike of the youth only continued to rise. But now, Zhu Ning realized that Yi Qing's elixir refinement standard far surpassed his own. How could he have been so blind and foolish? He had completely humiliated himself because of his narrow-mindedness. Zhu Ning hated those who didn't take elixir refinement seriously, but was extremely respectful toward those with exceptional skill. So now, his tone toward Yi Qing had subconsciously become more respectful. "I have lost, but it is my honor to have witnessed teacher Yes' exquisite elixir refinement skills. Teacher Yi, don't worry, I will adhere to the terms of our bet." From now on, I will seal off my tripod and never refine elixirs again," Zhu Ning stated. A huge commotion erupted at Zhu Ning's words. Song Yanhan's face paled. He never imagined that his master would lose, and to Yi Qing as well. If Zhu Ning sealed off his tripod, what would happen to him? "Master, please reconsider," Song Yanhan hurriedly cried out. Zhu Ning waved him off. "I have committed wrong after wrong. But today I managed to witness a true expert at work. It is already a blessing for me." He had doubted Yi Qing and wanted to know who taught Yun Chen the palm flame. Now, Zhu Ning knew that it was indeed Yi Qing who imparted that skill to Yun Chen, and his initial doubts made him feel extremely ashamed. Yi Qingtang looked at Zhu Ning. She felt that he was too old-fashioned. Nevertheless, she also felt that this elder did have some backbone. "It is truly admirable that Teacher Zhu is keeping his word," Yi Qingtang said. But Teacher Zhu's teaching stint at the Netherworld Academy is an agreement between him and President Wu Fengling. Since the agreement between Teacher Zhu and the president has yet to end, we must uphold that agreement first, Yi Qingtang continued. Zhu Ning was taken aback by Yi Qing's words. Recalling how he had been so overbearing toward her and how gracious the latter was being now, he felt even more ashamed. "Teacher Yi, I was in the wrong." So, of course, Zhu Ning couldn't bear to give up elixir refinement, but he was unwilling to go back on his word. Before Zhu Ning could complete his sentence, Wu Fengling walked up the platform. "Elder Zhu, Teacher Yi is right. You lost to me that year and said that as long as I am in the Netherworld Academy, you will be a teacher at the medicine faculty. What? Are you trying to go back on your word now?" Wu Fengling smiled. Zhu Ning felt a headache coming on. "President." Yi Qingtang saw Wu Fengling and Ran Mo standing behind him, and she immediately knew why he had come. Wu Fengling nodded. "Yi Qing, I didn't expect you to be skillful in elixir refinement as well. You are truly full of surprises. But you have really raised a ruckus today. I heard that you challenged Zhu Ning and Di Nuo." Yi Qing nodded. Wu Fengling gave a small smile. He had already heard about the entire affair from Ran Mo. "I will handle this matter. Since this match is done, let's forget about your challenge to Di Nuo." Yi Qing gave a strange look at Wu Fengling's words. "I'm afraid that's not possible." Wu Fengling was startled. This punk, didn't he realize he was trying to help him? He would be in trouble if he really had to fight Di Nuo. "What?" Wu Fengling asked sternly. Now Yi Qing looked exasperated. "Because the match between Di Nuo and I has already ended." Chapter 2353. Competition ended. Your match with Di Nuo is over? But Wu Fengling was astonished. He looked at the completely unharmed Yi Qing. Could Di Nuo have had a change of heart? He had gone easy on him? Ran Mo blinked in confusion. Meanwhile, Hang Wenwei, Gong Jinyan, and Xiao Nin dragged him off to the side. What happened? The match between Teacher Yi and Teacher Di Nuo is over? Ran Mo was befuddled, and he stared at the other three in confusion. Ran Mo suddenly realized that the trio was beaming, as if they had just discovered a great treasure. "Little Mo, you didn't see it just now? A real pity." The match between Teacher Yi and Teacher Di Nuo was mind-blowing. Hang Wenwei draped his arm around Ran Mo's shoulder, smiling like a cheeky rogue. "Little Mo?" Ran Mo was speechless, but he remained on track. Has the match between Teacher Yi and Teacher Di Nuo really ended? Where's Teacher Di Nuo then? Hang Wenwei indicated the exit with his chin. He was carried out. Ran Mo. Di Nuo was carried out? Did he hear correctly? Hang Wenwei watched Ran Mo's eyes grow wide. He grinned. Guess what the true cultivation level of our Teacher Yi is? Ran Mo asked. Teacher Yi has been concealing his true powers. Hang Wenwei nodded. Ran Mo looked at the completely unharmed Yi Qing and then at Hang Wenwei and the other two, who were all grinning widely. He then linked it with the fact that Di Nuo was carried away. He made a bold guess. Could he be at the Divine Lord 3rd Heaven Stage? Di Nuo was a Divine Lord 2nd Heaven Stage practitioner. If Teacher Yi could defeat Di Nuo, his level must definitely be higher. Hang Wenwei shook his head. Little Mo, you're still too young. Our teacher Yi is a true blue divine, Lord 5th heaven level. Ran-mo. Hang Wenwei was speaking softly, but Wu Fengling was able to hear him. When Wu Fengling heard the words Divine Lord 5th heaven level, he was shocked and immediately turned to look at Yi Qing in amazement. Yi Qing, you are a Divine Lord 5th heaven stage practitioner. Yi Qing nodded. Wu Fengling took a deep breath as he looked at Yi Qing with a complicated light in his eyes. Wu Fengling had already been overjoyed that Yi Qing had won Zhu Ning in elixir refinement. He didn't expect there would be another major surprise waiting for him. A Divine Lord 5th heaven level and with alchemy skills above that of a master-level alchemist. This was really a precious treasure that when Qi had brought him, the situation had far exceeded Wu Fengling's expectations. It was like every time he saw Yi Qing, he would bring him some great surprise. Thinking of how the Netherworld Academy had been like the past few years, Wu Fengling gazed at Yi Qing in excitement. Perhaps he had been sent by the heavens to help the Netherworld Academy. Yi Qing, you are full of endless surprises. Wu Fengling gave a happy chuckle. Yi Qing's situation was now different from what he initially understood. He would have to make some adjustments to his plans now. Given Yi Qing's prowess in martial arts and alchemy was out of this world, his reputation would spread like wildfire across the Netherworld Academy. Zhu Ning had been very insistent about sealing off his tripod, but after being persuaded by both Yi Qing and Wu Fengling, he decided to keep to the agreement between him and Wu Fengling first. The day that Wu Fengling left, he would keep his promise to Yi Qing. Today, all 6 of Yi Qing's students qualified for the Inter-Academy competition. Lei Yin said, "Who said that he would eat the whole platform? Hurry up, don't waste time." The guy who made that claim had already shrunk into a corner, desperately wishing that he could disappear. Chapter 2354. Stealing Their Teacher. 1. Wu Fengling spoke with Yi Qing for a while longer before having the crowd disperse. There is still some time before the Inter-Academy competition, so Wu Fengling hoped that Yi Qing could help Hang Wenwei and the rest improve for the competition. After today, every time Hang Wenwei and his group gazed at Yi Qing, it was with eyes filled with adoration and worship. They were eager to see how Yi Qing would teach them. But it was clear that someone else was even more eager than Hang Wenwei and his group. The next morning, Lei Yin, Hang Wenwei, and the others arrived at the agreed location very early to wait for Yi Qing to arrive. Just as Yi Qing stepped into the room, and before Hang Wenwei and the others could exhibit their boot-licking skills, a figure dashed over. Teacher Yi. Zhu Ning stood outside the door, looking humbly at Yi Qing. Teacher Zhu. Yi Qingtang was surprised by Zhu Ning's appearance. I obtained a recipe some time ago and studied it for a long time, but still cannot figure it out. There are a few ingredients listed which I feel have to be reconsidered, so I hope to invite Teacher Yi to analyze it with me. Zhu Ning looked at Yi Qing without the slightest hint of arrogance. He was truly sincere about asking for Yi Qing's guidance. Yi Qingtang was dumbstruck. Hang Wenwei and the others were likewise stupefied. They never expected Zhu Ning to appear like this. Their faces started to twitch. Was Teacher Zhu kidding them? Teacher Yi didn't belong to the medicine faculty. How dare he so boldly try to steal their teacher away like this? Was it really appropriate? After personally witnessing Yi Qing's elixir refinement skills, Zhu Ning was utterly convinced of his abilities. Also, he heard another teacher say last night that Yun Chen's elixir refinement standard had greatly improved since several months ago, and it was all thanks to Yi Qing. That teacher was the same one who had previously tried to convince Yi Qing to join the medicine faculty as a warden, but he had rejected him. The teacher didn't take the rejection to heart. In addition, he had been away from the academy the past few months, and so didn't get the chance to tell anyone of this matter. That was why things had escalated in this manner. In the end, that teacher returned and found out that Yi Qing's elixir refinement level was even more formidable. He was stunned. This further solidified Zhu Ning's respect for Yi Qing. As a result, he had come here first thing in the morning with his elixir recipe to seek out Yi Qing. Teacher Zhu, I have some things to do. Yi Qingtang was in a dilemma. If it was some other person, she could have just kicked him out. But Zhu Ning, as stubborn as he was, his adoration for alchemy was sincere, and his tone had been so humble. There was a saying that one could not bear to slap a smiling face. Enchanting felt rather embarrassed rejecting him. Chapter 2355. Stealing Their Teacher, 2. The thought made Lei Yin and others feel extremely aggrieved. More than ever, they pined for the days when Yi Qing was a nobody. At least then, their boss would only belong to them. Unlike now there were love rivals popping up everything, trying to steal their boss. Yi Qingtang didn't know whether to laugh or to cry at Juning's offer. Although she rejected him, he was resolute. It was clear that this person's aspirations in elixir refinement was indomitable. Exasperated, Yi Qingtang had no choice but to agree and spend half a day with Juning first. She could deal with the rest later. Before Yi Qingtang left, she had Jing Zhe and the others take charge of Hang Wenwei and his group for the time being, to instruct them on the foundational methods she had taught them in the past. They could start training using those methods first. Hang Wenwei, Qiao Nan, and Gong Jinyan, Lei Yin, and the others were shaking with mirth. Only Rendezvous alone was full of spirit. After Yi Qing left, he scurried over to Qin Feng's side. Qin Feng, teach me a couple of moves? Rendezvous smiled, revealing his eye teeth. Qin Feng, no, he didn't want to. Like that. Yi Qing had been kidnapped by Zhu Ning to the medicine faculty to research on some elixirs. It had been agreed that it would take just half a day, but when it came to elixirs, Zhu Ning was like an obsessed maniac. By mid-afternoon, he still refused to let Yi Qing leave. Song Yinhan looked on as his own master humbly discussed elixir refinement with Yi Qing. The expression on his face was amusing. Noticing the approach of Yin Shun and the others, Song Yinhan's face darkened even further. What else could he do? His own master was not as good as their teacher. In the end, he could only slink away in embarrassment. When night fell, Yin Shun and the others finally managed to snatch Yi Qing back from Juning's clutches after putting up a major fuss. Yi Qing took this opportunity to analyze the situation of Hang Wenwei and his team. They all had very solid foundations and pretty good innate talents. It was no coincidence at all that they managed to reach their current cultivation stage. According to their individual situations, Yi Qing adjusted the techniques and offered them a set of tailor-made methods to have them practice over this period of time. Hang Wenwei and the others practiced diligently, as if they had just received a precious gift. But Juning would come over every 2 or 3 days to try and steal their teacher again. It was a real headache. Due to Juning's actions, Hang Wenwei, Lei Yin, and the whole group bonded together for the first time. To defend against external enemies, one must first have domestic harmony. Unite together to defend against Zhu Ning. But no matter how hard they tried, they failed to stop Zhu Ning's attempts. Exasperated, they sought out Ran Mo. Little Mo, go and find your master. Tell him that if this goes on, teacher, you will not have time to teach us. Hang Wenwei was feeling very aggrieved. He never expected that he would one day end up fighting over a teacher with a medicine faculty teacher. Rendezvous said, my master has always respected teacher Zhu in this. Lei Yin patted Rendezvous on the shoulder. Let me teach you. Go and see your master and throw yourself at his feet. Sob as hard as you can, until tears and snot cover your face. If he refuses to help, just cry yourself to death by his feet. Rendezvous stared at Lei Yin with his dark, round eyes, as if he had just seen a ghost. Don't worry. This method is very effective. I use it very often. Lei Yin patted his chest with gusto. Everyone immediately turned to stare at Lei Yin. The looks on their faces. Incredulous. What are you looking at? I do this every time my father tries to force me to train. Lei Yin remained nonchalant. The corners of the lips of Nangong Lai and the rest twitched. No wonder this kid's earlier cultivation level was so lousy. Could he be any more shameless? Chapter 2356. Stealing Their Teacher, 3. Lei Yin's method was indeed rather shameless. The others were secretly scornful, but outwardly. Little Momo, I think this method might work. You should go ahead and try it. Hang Wenwei looked very righteous. Oh yes, crying alone is not enough. You need to howl. Howl until your master's heart softens. Those brats behaved like armchair experts, throwing the deplorable task onto Ranmo's lap. Like this, the pitiful Ranmo was forced into his mission. The #1 student in the Netherworld Academy threw himself at his master's feet and cried the entire night. Wu Fengling nearly went deaf from the noise. He finally agreed to go speak to Zhuning. The personal intervention of Wu Fengling seemed to work. Zhuning stopped his antics, and Yi Qing could finally teach her brats in peace. Having been delayed for several days, Ranmo and his group gradually started to absorb Yi Qing's teachings. Meanwhile, Lei Yin and his gang recalled something very crucial. I say, boss, didn't you make that bet with Di Nuo earlier? If you win, isn't Di Nuo supposed to crawl out of the Netherworld Academy? Lei Yin always got angry all over again when he recalled how overbearing Di Nuo was. Now, their boss had proved herself in every way. It was time for Di Nuo to carry out the terms of the bet. That's right, boss, make Di Nuo carry out the terms of the bet. Nangong Lai piped up. If not for Di Nuo, so many unpleasant things would not have happened. Di Nuo thought that he would definitely win and had been so eager to publicly announce the bet between him and Yi Qing. But since that day, after Yi Qing thrashed him and he had to be carried away, there had been no news of Di Nuo. I think that Di Nuo is still bedridden. Lei Yin rubbed his chin. Are you all very bored? Yi Qing shot them a mild look. Lei Yin and the others shuddered under Yi Qing's gaze as he lifted his chin and said, Yesterday's technique. Practice it another 10 times. The faces of Lei Yin and the others darkened as they stared at Yi Qing pitifully. They were just speaking up for boss. Why was he so heartless? As much as they grumbled, they had no choice but to carry out all extra 10 rounds of practice. As for the bet between her and Di Nuo, Yi Qingtang had not taken it to heart at all. For someone as proud as Di Nuo, being publicly defeated by Yi Qingtang was enough to shatter all his dignity. Yi Qingtang had no time to bother about him anymore, as she could now go for the Inter-Academy competition. So she had already decided to spend as much time as she could with her brats until the end of the competition, after which she would leave this mainland and head off to the Dragon Emperor clan to find her mother. Instead of wasting her time on inconsequential people, she would rather concentrate on teaching her brats. Yi Qingtang did not take the matter with Di Nuo to heart at all. But it was true that Di Nuo remained out of sight during this period. Meanwhile, Yi Qing's reputation in the Netherworld Academy was flourishing. Nearly all the students knew of this formidable teacher who knew both martial arts and alchemy. However, Yi Qing was only teaching Lei Yin, Ranmo, and the selected few. This was also Wu Fengling's intention. After all, the Inter-Academy competition depended on those top students. Chapter 2357, Get Lost, 1. During this period, the powers of Ranmo and his group did improve. But with their already high cultivation stage, it was nearly impossible for them to have a sudden breakthrough over such a short period of time. Even so, they could clearly feel their battle prowess surge by leaps and bounds under Yi Qing's guidance. Hang Wenwei was the only one who had yet to ascend to the Divine Lord stage, and he could already feel signs of a breakthrough. This made him so happy that he could barely sleep for several nights. During the day, he trained exceptionally hard, hoping to reach the Divine Lord stage before the Inter-Academy competition. Perhaps it was because they were motivated by Hang Wenwei, so Lei Yin and the others also increased their efforts. The moment daylight broke, the teenagers would charge toward the training arena like a pack of wild dogs who had just been uncaged. Many other students were astonished by their crazed diligence. One day, as they were practicing, a group of other students suddenly walked past them. At first, Lei Yin and the rest didn't pay much attention. But the words Yi Qing drifted into their ears, and they instantly paused. Senior Sister Meng, is what you were saying true? Is Yi Qing really that vicious? Meng Yao crossed her arms over her chest and shot Lei Yin and his gang a cold glance. A smirk was on her lips as she admonished. Of course it's true. To this day, my master has yet to recover. It's obvious how vicious Yi Qing was. After being taught a lesson by Mu Ziying, Meng Yao had spent more than 2 weeks bedridden before finally recovering. But her attitude toward Mu Ziying and her group did not change at all. It was still full of enmity. Meng Yao, what did you just say? Nangong Lai's face darkened as he glared at her. Meng Yao looked provocatively at Nangong Lai. What did I say? I was just speaking the truth. What? Are you going to attack me now? I think that you're just itching for a beating. Nangong Lai narrowed his eyes. He did not care that Meng Yao was a female. Even a deity could not insult their boss. It is indeed true that students take after their teachers. Your teacher is so cunning. It's only natural that you kids don't adhere to the school rules. Meng Yao smirked. Nangong Lai's face grew even grimmer. He wanted to step forward, but was held back by Qin Feng. Qin Feng gave Meng Yao a chilly look. If you dare insult our boss again, I will ensure that you can never speak again in this lifetime. Qin Feng was tall and strapping, his features cold and foreboding. At his malevolent tone and harsh eyes, Meng Yao couldn't help taking a step back. Qin Feng, I know you are formidable, but as powerful as you are, do you think you can shut everyone up if they don't agree with you? Meng Yao put on a false show of bravado. Yi Qing is so great. He concealed his true powers and came to the Netherworld Academy. He could have revealed his powers from the start, but he purposely chose to hide them. I know that he has been at odds with my master right from the start. He purposely incited my master to make that bet with him. Thereafter, he cunningly challenged my master in public and then executed a lethal move during their fight. He was completely merciless to someone who is also a teacher of the Netherworld Academy. Everything that has happened, Yi Qing planned it all. Meng Yao glared at Qin Feng and his group with eyes filled with venom and hatred. Whenever she thought of how her family clan had invested so much to let her powers increase before the Inter-Academy competition, it infuriated her. If it wasn't for Yi Qing, she would finally have the chance to make a name for herself there. Chapter 2358, Get Lost Too, but she had been greatly weakened by her match with Mu Ziying. Although she could walk now, it would still be some time before she would fully recover. In her current state, there was no way she could compete in the Inter-Academy competition. So of course she hated them. Di Nual was her teacher. If he was well, he might be able to help her recuperate faster. But he had been injured by Yi Qing and couldn't even help himself. Meng Yao's last hope was extinguished just like that. At this point, Meng Yao was just aching to tear Yi Qing apart. Meng Yao's voice attracted several people. The training arena was crowded in the first place, and several bystanders gathered around them. Most of them had heard of the bet between Di Nual and Yi Qing, but no one knew the reason behind that bet. Thereafter, there was Di Nual's match against Yi Qing during the medicine faculty selection trials. This made those students even more confused over the reason behind everything. Now, Meng Yao had spoken out and pushed all the blame onto Yi Qing, making it sound like Yi Qing had schemed against Di Nual and purposely injured him badly, just because she was at odds with him. Meng Yao's words stunned Lei Yin and his group. They had met shameless people, but they had never met someone that shameless. Their boss was the instigator? If Di Nual had not been so overbearing, would their boss be so free as to challenge him? It was clearly Di Nual who had forced Yi Qing to a match to prove himself. Now Meng Yao dared to turn around and accuse the victim? Your words are truly hilarious. Our boss is big-hearted and benevolent. He doesn't even intend to pursue the matter. Have you and your master not had enough yet? Who is the one who tried to force our boss out of the Netherworld Academy? Who is the one who claimed that our boss had someone outside of the academy teach us? It's all your teacher's doing. What? Now that you have lost, you refuse to concede? If your teacher has the guts, he should crawl out of the Netherworld Academy in accordance with the bet. Lei Yin was so angry that he felt like laughing. He had never met someone so thick-skinned. Meng Yao replied, Scoundrel, you are just a student. How dare you be so rude to a teacher? What bet? It's all just talk, there's no proof. You were so rude to our boss too. What do you say to that? Lei Yin retorted. Shut up. A low voice rang out. The crowd turned toward the voice and saw a pale-faced Di Nuo, accompanied by several teenagers. He was walking into the training arena. Meng Yao was taken aback by the sight of Di Nuo. "Master, why have you come out?" Di Nuo looked extremely unwell, and his aura was very weak. He was a teacher from the martial arts faculty and was a familiar sight to all the students in the training arena. Seeing how the usually robust and imperious Di Nuo now looked so frail, many of the teenagers, who didn't know the truth, unwittingly started to believe in Meng Yao's words. To be fair, it was rather common for the teachers to have occasional sparring matches, but no one had ever witnessed a teacher dealing such a heavy blow to another. Those teenagers did not know Yi Qing well, only hearing rumors about him. Now, they started to feel that it was better to stay away from this vicious teacher. Meng Yao, the world has only ever respected winners. There's nothing we can do about that. You have yet to fully recover. No need to go around talking about this, Di Nuo said impassively. Meng Yao twisted her lips. Chapter 2359. Get Lost. 3. Seeing that Di Nuo wasn't really saying anything, Lei Yin and the others also remained silent. Di Nuo looked at Lei Yin and his gang. "Yi Qing wants me to fulfill the bet." Lei Yin gaped, suddenly at a loss for words. Yi Qing had completely disregarded the bet, and so Lei Yin and the rest also didn't take it to heart. Just now, it was only because of Meng Yao's provocation that he had blurted those words out. It was par for course to expect a person to fulfill his promise. But to say this in front of everything, it would just make them appear overbearing. Lei Yin felt rather distressed. Di Nuo was the one who wished to go back on his word, but now he was making it look like they were bullying him. With arms crossed behind his back, Di Nuo stared at Lei Yin and the others with a cold expression. "Yi Qing was the one who initiated this bet. If he wants me to fulfill it, he must come and ask me himself." Lei Yin and the others looked very conflicted. They wanted to do so, but the surrounding crowd was already staring at them like they were ruthless tyrants. "I say, enough is enough, right? This bet has always been just all talk and no proof." Moreover, Yi Qing had clearly concealed his true powers before purposely dealing such a grievous blow to teacher Di Nuo. Now he wants to rub salt into his wound. That's too much. He is so formidable now. High cultivation level and an expert at alchemy, let alone he is also in the president's good books. Of course, he would disregard us commoners. Many students sounded rather envious. They also hoped to have a powerful teacher, but it was clear that Yi Qing didn't intend to teach students other than Lei Yin and his group. In a matter of moments, Lei Yin and the rest were confused by the malicious comments. But Di Nuo was using his status as a teacher to suppress them. Even if they wished to argue, it would make them look unreasonable and heartless. No matter what they said, they would be at fault. Meng Yao was thrilled at the sight of the distressed expressions on Lei Yin and his group. Just as the crowd was discussing and blaming Lei Yin and his gang, a cold voice rang out. "So, I will tell you now, Teacher Di Nuo, are you going to carry it out?" Lei Yin and the others immediately turned at the voice. As expected, it was Yi Qing. "Boss!" Lei Yin and his group lit up with joy, and they burst toward Yi Qing. In contrast, when he saw Yi Qing, a frown appeared on Di Nuo's face. Yi Qing Tang was just passing by the training arena and wanted to see if her brats were sneaking a break, only to end up witnessing this scene. She had no interest in seeking out Di Nuo to settle their score. But now he was putting up an act? Yi Qing shot Lei Yin and the group a keep calm expression before turning toward Di Nuo. Teacher Di Nuo's word have always been his bond. So please crawl out of the Netherworld Academy in accordance with the terms of our bet. He wanted to bully her brats? He had to have the ability first. Di Nuo's face darkened at Yi Qing's words. Whispers spread across the crowd. Wasn't Yi Qing being too overbearing? It was better to live and let live. Yi Qing, don't push things too far. Meng Yao stepped out angrily. Yi Qing Tang's face turned cold as she glanced at Meng Yao. Yes, I want to push things that far today. What can you do? Yi Qing finally understood something. Originally, she had wanted to be merciful to Di Nuo, so as to ensure a smooth future for Lei Yin and the rest in the Netherworld Academy after she left. But as long as Dinua was around, he would find all sorts of ways to make things difficult for her students after she was no longer around. Chapter 2360. Get lost. 4. Rather than letting him harm her little brats, it was better that she get rid of this danger as soon as possible. You have no proof. Who would know the real details of your bet that day? Meng Yao insisted. Oh, so they were going to play that game, were they? Completely ignoring Meng Yao, Yi Qingtang took out the contract from her space ring and showed it to everyone. Here's the proof. I believe that I'm not the only one who has a copy of this. Teacher Dinua has one too, correct? Dinua had been worried that Yi Qing would go back on his word, and so purposely wrote out this contract in front of Wenqi. He never imagined that he would be the one being tormented by this contract. Dinua looked extremely grim. He was in a tight spot now. If he didn't carry out the terms of the bet, his reputation would be dragged through the mud. If he complied, he would be utterly humiliated. Or does Teacher Dinu need my help to carry out his end of the bargain? Yi Qingtang narrowed her eyes. Dinua's face turned pale. Having personally experienced Yi Qing's power, he was well aware that if Yi Qing were to make a move, he would be utterly defenseless. Yi Qing, you are indeed vicious. Dinua took a deep breath. He flung his sleeves angrily and left without turning his head. He could not carry it out. How could he? He would become the laughingstock of everyone. Meng Yao saw Dinua leave and hurriedly followed after him. The crowd was of two minds at what just happened. Yi Qingtang couldn't care less. She led Lei Yin and the rest away from the practice arena. That night, Dinua handed Wu Fengling his resignation and left the Netherworld Academy. Meng Yao, who had relied on Dinua all this while, never expected Dinua to leave just like that. After Dinua left, Wu Fengling called Yi Qing over to his office. Dinua has gone. Wu Fengling looked at Yi Qing. Yi Qingtang had already predicted this. With Dinua's character, he would never crawl out of the Netherworld Academy in accordance with the bet. But his reputation had already been besmeared, and he had no choice but to leave. Are you going to rebuke me for being too ruthless? Yi Qing asked. Wu Fengling shook his head. I have heard about the entire matter from Wenqi. You were not at fault. Yi Qingtang was somewhat surprised. She thought that Wu Fengling would admonish her. I called you here to discuss something with you. Wu Fengling explained. President, please go ahead. Wu Fengling continued. It will be the Inter-Academy competition soon, and the venue will not be on our mainland. It will be a long journey, and we need to leave in advance. We will be heading for the venue of the Inter-Academy competition in 3 days, so you should start to make the necessary preparations. Yi Qingtang subconsciously heaved a sigh of relief. To be honest, she felt very uneasy staying on this mainland. Who knew what was happening with the Temple of Paragon? It was better for her to go as far as possible. Apart from that, this year's Inter-Academy competition will be a bit different. I'm not sure of the details for now, but Yi Qing, I hope that you can be the lead teacher for this competition, Wu Fengling continued. Lead teacher? Yi Qingtang was puzzled. Wu Fengling explained. For every Inter-Academy competition, each student would have their own teacher to mentor them throughout the entire competition. Most of the matches are one-on-one, so there's no major issue there. But one of the categories is a team competition, which will require a teacher to participate. Although a teacher had to participate in the team competition, there were certain rules and limitations that applied. Only normal teachers were allowed to participate. Presidents, vice presidents, and faculty heads were not allowed. Chapter 2361. Universe City 1. What I need to do? Yi Qingtang asked. Wu Fengling replied. In the past competitions, the lead teacher just needed to keep watch on the competition arena surroundings, just in case. But there seem to be some changes this year. You will only know of the details when you arrive. Yi Qingtang nodded. She did not find anything strange about this. Anyway, she would definitely be guiding her own brats. She would feel uneasy if someone else performed the task. Besides, Wu Fengling must have taken all things into consideration before deciding to give such an important task to Yi Qing. Yi Qing had a pretty high cultivation level and was highly skilled in alchemy. It was no surprise that he was the most suitable candidate, since Wu Fengling assigned Yi Qing to guide Lei Yin and the others, as they already knew each other well. It was the best choice. After Wu Fengling gave his instructions, he let Yi Qing go back first. As Yi Qingtang returned, she thought of the evil soul forest. With her current cultivation stage, it would take at most a day to travel to and fro the evil soul forest. But Yi Qingtang also heard that there has been an increasing number of factions entering the forest. Many factions from his second domain were making their move. She heard that during this period of time, a few of the factions had obtained quite a number of treasures from the Fiend Celestial's tomb. The news was rather strange. Yi Qingtang was well aware of how dangerous the Fiend Celestial's tomb was. Just that giant snake guarding the treasure trove was enough to kill off all the factions. Even if someone was lucky enough to carry off 1 or 2 treasures from the tomb, it was a very low probability. But according to the news, the number of instances of treasures being brought out had far surpassed the reasonably expected amount. Yi Qingtang felt that something was not quite right. But as she had yet to go and investigate, she was not sure what was going on. Several days passed in the blink of an eye. The Netherworld Academy team that was to participate in the Inter-Academy competition set off. Wu Fengling remained in the Netherworld Academy to hold down the fort, and the team was led by Vice President Wen Qi. Having trained so hard for so long, the teenagers finally embarked on their journey. The Heaven Mainland was located in the ocean of the second domain. It was a wide expanse of land and the most vibrant martial arts place in the second domain. On a regular basis, the elite academies from the various mainlands would lead their top students to this mainland to compete in the Inter-Academy competition, which was held in Universe City on Heaven Mainland. It was rumored that many years ago, the mainland's biggest temple used to be located where Universe City was now. The temple worshipped a powerful god, but after the god disappeared, the temple was destroyed in the battle and completely flattened. Many years later, people started to build a new city on that piece of land. This city was usually sealed off, and no one was allowed to enter or leave. It was only open during the Inter-Academy competition. Like this, the originally empty city would become exceptionally lively during this period. After arriving at Universe City, Lei Yin observed his surroundings with curiosity as his eyes surveyed the bustling shops lining the streets. I thought apart from those who were here for the competition, there would be no one else. I didn't expect it to be so vibrant and filled with so many shops. Nangong Lai had clearly done his research. Of course, the students sent here by the various academies are all the cream of the crop amongst the elite. Most of them are from wealthy family clans who had invested much effort to groom them, all with vast resources at their fingertips. As long as there are rich people around, you don't need to worry about there being nothing to buy. Chapter 2362, Universe City 2. Wow, look at that. Are they selling spirit animals? I have always wanted one. I must go and take a look later. Lei Yin was a young master of family clan. Even so, his eyes lit up as he chatted with Nangong Lai, his movements becoming clumsy with excitement at the thought of going on a shopping spree. Yi Qingtang couldn't help feeling exasperated at those two lively brats. The others were quieter. Only those two chatted nonstop. Yi Qing, we will be heading to one of the residence halls later. That's the assembly point for the various academies. Apart from us, there will be people from the other schools. When she glanced at the teenagers behind him before speaking to Yi Qing. The Netherworld Academy had sent quite a big team this time. This was also Yi Qing's first time here, and it was only natural for Wen Qi to offer more advice. Yi Qingtang nodded. Universe City had 4 residence halls, each located on the 4 corners of the city. The Netherworld Academy had been assigned to the North Hall. When they arrived, several teenagers from the other academies were already coming in and out of the place. Yi Qingtang instructed Lei Yin and the others to stay close to her. The brats followed behind her, their eyes filled with curiosity. Males and females were separated in the building. Mu Ziying and the other teenage girls from the Netherworld Academy were sent to another section. Yi Qingtang led the remaining 9 bumbling boys to another part of the building. Lei Yin and Nangong Lai were still whispering to each other. At some point in time, Gong Jinyun and Hang Wenwei had also been dragged into their conversation, and the four of them huddled together, talking quietly. Damn, are those guys from the Sky Martial Academy? Lei Yin acted like he had just discovered a new mainland. He gazed at a team of white-clad teenagers with shining eyes. Those teenagers were only in their late teens. Making their way through the crowd of students, their white outfits made them look exceptionally striking. Where? Nangong Lai also became very excited, sticking his head up to look. Is that Xiao Yihan? Lei Yin's eyes landed on the male leading the group. The mention of the name Xiao Yihan made Yi Qingtang pause. She looked up to see the handsome face of the boy and saw that his eyes were cold and he exuded an aloof aura. Yi Qingtang knew the name Xiao Yihan as she had heard of him in her previous life when she came to the second domain. But that would be many years later. By then, Xiao Yihan would become the top practitioner in the second domain and was very famous. In her previous life, Jing Zhe, whose bloodline remained sealed, would clash with Xiao Yihan many years later. The two of them once battled for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, Jing Zhe would flee in defeat. Yi Qingtang looked in turn at Xiao Yihan, then at Jing Zhe. The Jing Zhe of now had awakened his bloodline under Yi Qingtang's guidance. The tragedy that happened in her previous life would not occur. How do you think Xiao Yihan's cultivation level is now? I heard that he already reached the Divine Lord stage when he was just 12 years old. He's a real freak. He should be about 18 or 19 now, right? TSK. How high must his cultivation level be now? Lei Yin gaped at Xiao Yihan. He knew of Xiao Yihan because his father always talked about that genius teenager to torment him. A Divine Lord stage at 12 years old, the expressions of Qin Feng and the others shifted slightly at Lei Yan's words. Everyone subconsciously turned their attention to Ran Mo, also a genius teenager. Chapter 2363, Universe City 3. Ran Mo blinked before revealing his eye teeth. What? Lei Yin and the others turned away, shaking their heads quietly. Look at Xiao Yihan's formidable presence and then at this silly kid. Why was there such a great disparity? Never mind. Our little Mo is still young. He still has time to grow up. Nangong Lai chuckled, as if he was trying to assure himself. Ran Mo? Stop calling me little Mo. Boss, your cultivation level is so high. Help us see what stage Xiao Yihan is at now. Lei Yin scurried over to Yi Qing's side. Divine Lord 4th Heaven peak level. The brats all gasped. What the hell? What a beast! A teenager at the Divine Lord 4th Heaven peak level? Was this guy a monster? We're doomed. I was still full of confidence for this inter-academy competition, but now I feel very inferior. Lei Yin felt like he had endured a major bow. Yi Qingtang shook her head with a small smile. She was also not that optimistic about the Netherworld Academy's chances. The Netherworld Academy was a top school, but somehow, over the past few years, apart from that Grandmaster Alchemist, they had not produced any truly elite practitioners. Although the standard of the Netherworld Academy students was all pretty good, the various academies had sent their best students for this competition. Faced with those exceptionally talented teenagers, Lei Yin and the others felt rather deflated. Even their strongest, Qin Feng and Ran Mo, lagged when compared to someone like Xiao Yihan. And who knew how many more freakishly talented youths like Xiao Yihan were there in the whole inter-academy competition. The Netherworld Academy's situation was not optimistic at all. Stop thinking about such pointless things. I will give you half a day to explore the city. From tomorrow onwards, you are all to stay in this building. You're not to run outside. Yi Qingtang instructed. Yes, the brats had been worried that Yi Qing would not allow them to explore the city, but he was now giving them a whole half day to do so. They immediately perked up, and after setting down their luggage, they went out as a group. The other Netherworld Academy teenagers looked rather conflicted as they watched Lei Yin and the rest charge out of the North Hall in excitement. After coming here, they finally realized what the word elite meant. The genius freaks from the various academies had come in full force. They had been so confident while at the Netherworld Academy, but now in the North Hall, they were surrounded by Divine Lord stage practitioners. Their hearts felt very heavy. Even their own teachers were looking rather grave. But Lei Yin and the others appeared nonchalant. To think that they still had the mood to go explore the city. Yi Qing, is it really appropriate to let them out at this point in time? One of the other Netherworld Academy teachers asked. Rather than restricting them all the time, it is better to give them some freedom. Yi Qingtang had considered this matter very carefully. They could only do their best and leave the rest to fate. She had some initial plans, but was not entirely sure of them yet. Moreover, she didn't want to see her brats looking all despondent. It would be a depressing sight. Putting down her luggage, Yi Qingtang was about to take a rest when Luo Sheng knocked on her door. Yi Qing, come with me. The vice president wants to see you. When she was looking for Yi Qing because of the inter-academy competition rules. The regulations would be announced to the various academies tonight. As Yi Qing was in charge of the team competition, when she wanted him to come along to listen to the announcement. Chapter 2364, Regulations 1. Soon after, Yi Qingtang and Luo Sheng went over and found Wen Qi and the other Netherworld Academy teachers already standing at the entrance of the main hall. A middle-aged man was standing in front of them, and they looked like they were chatting. Wen Qi had a rather strange expression. Although he had a smile on his face, the smile didn't reach his eyes. Vice President, Yi Qingtang and Luo Sheng walked over. When Qi saw Yi Qing and Luo Sheng come over, the smile became more genuine. The middle-aged man followed Wen Qi's gaze. His face was cold and imperious, and when he looked at Yi Qingtang, it was with eyes full of arrogance. All of the academies participating in the inter-academy competition were among the elite few, and teachers who could teach at such academies would naturally have very high cultivation levels. Yi Qingtang was just in her teens, and although she had changed her appearance, she still looked like in her early 20s. Standing amongst the teachers, she looked exceptionally youthful. The middle-aged man's eyes swept past Yi Qingtang impassively. Wen Qi, this is a teacher from the Netherworld Academy? The middle-aged man looked at Wen Qi. Wen Qi nodded. A strange expression appeared on the man's face. He said in a low voice, "This year's inter-academy competition means a lot to the Netherworld Academy. I thought President Wu would treat it more seriously." The meaning behind the man's words was very clear. He felt that Wu Fengling should not have sent such a young teacher. Yi Qing might be young, but he is very capable. Wen Qi stated. The man didn't respond to Wen Qi's statement. Everyone has more or less arrived, so I will head in first. We will catch up again if there is time in the future. The man turned and entered the main hall first. Wen Qi couldn't resist a sigh as he watched the man depart. His name is Zhang Yinzhou, and he used to be Vice President Wen Qi's disciple. Luo Sheng told Yi Qingtang in a low voice. Yi Qingtang's eyes flashed. She was not familiar with that name. But Zhang Yinzhou had been wearing the uniform of the Cold Cloud Academy, so it seemed that he was a teacher from the Cold Cloud Academy. When Zhang Yinzhou entered the main hall, quite a number of people inside greeted him respectfully. He quickly walked over to the other teachers from the Cold Cloud Academy. "You went to talk to your former master?" One of the Cold Cloud Academy elders asked. He looked past Zhang Yinzhou to glance at Wen Qi impassively. "Zhang Yinzhou, it has been a long time," the elder said in a mild tone. "The Netherworld Academy is no longer what it used to be. For the past several inter-academy competitions, very few Netherworld Academy students managed to get a placing. In the previous competition, only one person from the medicine faculty managed to squeeze into the rankings. The Netherworld Academy is in a bad state." Zhang Yinzhou kept silent. The elder patted him on the shoulder. "Your initial choice then was not wrong. If you had remained at the Netherworld Academy, it would just be a waste of your talent. If none of the Netherworld Academy students manage to get a place in this year's competition, they will be struck off the list of elite academies. In future, they would need to compete with the other normal academies first if they wish to join the inter-academy competition again. Like the Sky Marshal Academy, the Cold Cloud Academy was an elite school and was granted instant access to the inter-academy competition. Meanwhile, There were many other mainlands near the Heaven mainland with countless academies located on them. Chapter 2365, Regulations 2. But not every academy was good enough to participate in the inter-academy competition. They had to undergo a round of qualifying competitions first, and only the top few winners would earn the right to come to Universe City and participate in the real inter-academy competition. In the past, the Netherworld Academy did not need to undergo the qualifying competition, but now, the Netherworld Academy was not like it used to be. According to the regulations, if they could not produce good results in this year's competition, they would lose that privilege. As the elders spoke, Wen Qi had already led Yi Qing and the others into the main hall. But their arrival did not attract the attention of the other academies. It was like no one could be bothered about them at all. This was an academy that was about to lose its privilege to automatically qualify for the inter-academy competitions, and so the other academies completely dismissed them. They were more focused on this year's competition regulations and their true rivals. Wen Qi was used to their dismissive attitudes. He led Yi Qing and the others to a corner and sat down. Yi Qing, do you know why so many academies fight so hard to qualify for the inter-academy competition? Wen Qi suddenly asked Yi Qingtang. Yi Qingtang shook her head. She had never enrolled in an academy in the second domain during her previous life, so it was only natural she had no idea. It's because of the God Relic, Wen Qi said in a low voice. Yi Qingtang's eyes glinted. God Relic? Wen Qi nodded. Where the Universe City is standing now, it used to be the biggest and most magnificent temple. It was constructed on this spot because a god left behind a relic here. It is similar to a mystic realm, yet also completely different. The god relic cannot usually be found. It will only open during a special period, and only a limited number of people will be allowed inside. The Universe City was where the god relic was hidden. Nearly everyone in the second domain had tried to fight over the god relic, but thereafter, they realized that it was only effective for youths who had yet to reach the age of 20. Many powerful practitioners were extremely frustrated over this. But the major family clans, academies, and sects were inspired. There were 5 separate entrances to the God Relic, and every entrance only allowed a certain number of entrants. To reduce the endless conflicts, the various factions had come to an agreement. Factions would be assigned to a particular entrance, and they could then fight over that allocated entrance. The entrance situated at the Universe City had been allocated to the various academies, and they fought over the right to the entrance via a very simple method. The inter-academy competition, where the most talented teenagers would gain the chance to enter. This was why the various academies invested so much effort just to qualify for the inter-academy competition. Only 100 people are allowed to enter the entrance located at the Universe City. In the past, our academy once managed to send over a dozen students into the God Relic. But Yi Qing, do you know how many students of ours managed to win the privilege in the last competition? Wen Qi asked. Yi Qingtang shook her head. A bitter look surfaced on Wen Qi's face. He lifted a single finger. One, only one. Yi Qingtang couldn't resist an inward sigh after hearing this. Unless the Netherworld Academy manages to have at least 3 students win that privilege, our academy will be struck off the priority list. We will need to undergo a qualifying competition with the other normal academies first and win them before being able to participate in the inter-academy competition. Wen Qi's voice was very grave. The Netherworld Academy's situation was not optimistic at all. Chapter 2366, Regulations 3, Realization dawned upon Yi Qingtang. No wonder she found the atmosphere somewhat strange. The others in this hall all looked down upon the Netherworld Academy. From his position beside her, Wen Qi gradually explained the true circumstances of the inter-academy competition. In all honesty, he felt rather conflicted as he looked at Yi Qing. It was clear that he already admired Yi Qing when he first heard of the youth's unique understanding of martial arts. Yi Qing had only brought him even more major surprises. It was such a pity when Qi couldn't help giving an inward sigh. Yi Qing was still too young, and had only spent a short time at the Netherworld Academy. If he could remain at the Netherworld Academy for a decade, with his understanding of martial arts and alchemy skills, he might be able to inject fresh blood into the academy. Such a pity, when Qin knew that Wu Fengling let Yi Qing come to the Inter-Academy competition because he already had thoughts of giving up on this year's competition. When Qi himself harbored the same thoughts. Although Rendezvous and Qin Feng were pretty good, it was still not good enough to rise above the competition in university. So he had allowed Yi Qing to participate this time just to let him have a better understanding of the Inter-Academy competition and to groom him for the future in hopes that he could produce more talented students for the next competition. Even if they had to start all over again, at least they would have a chance. But when Qi would never reveal this point to anyone, he could not batter the confidence of the teachers and students right before the competition. Very soon, the elders in charge of the Inter-Academy competition arrived and explained to everyone the changes in the rules. Actually, there weren't many changes. The one-on-one competitions for martial arts and alchemy remained unchanged. They would still choose the top 10. The only change was to the team competition. For this team competition, we will have 10 participants in a group to be led by a teacher. President Wu's information was indeed accurate. There are substantial changes to the team competition. 10 to a team, and only the top team will be chosen. TSK. So sad. Luo Sheng frowned slightly. The team competition was the main event of the Inter-Academy competition. If victorious, they could win 10 spots all at once. There was no better way. However, the competition was also more intense. The various academies would definitely send out all their top elites. But in the end, only one team would win. The Cold Cloud Academy elder who was talking to Zhang Yinzhou earlier spoke up. Where is the location of this year's competition? In the previous Inter-Academy competition, there was also a team competition, but the top 3 teams had been chosen. In contrast, for this year, only the top team would earn a spot. Moreover, they allowed a teacher to lead the team. This was a major change. To allow a teacher to directly participate in a competition, it would definitely be no simple trial. The elder replied, "The location will be the Wailing Well." Everyone's faces changed at his words. The Wailing Well? Isn't that place surrounded by an evil aura, such that no one is able to enter? Someone asked in a puzzled tone. The elder nodded. Several months ago, the Wailing Well's evil aura was dispelled. The crowd exchanged looks, grave expressions mirrored across all their faces. Vice President, the Wailing Well you're referring to is the one situated in the evil marsh in the outskirts of Universe City? One of the teachers asked in a low voice. When she nodded. Chapter 2367. Regulations for the evil marsh used to be a blessed land. But after the temple was destroyed, it was gradually engulfed by the evil aura, and the Wailing Well is situated right inside the marsh. Since then, no one has been able to enter. To think that the Inter-Academy competition this year would be held in the Wailing Well, where no one had ever entered. This was a major shock to many academies. Who knew what would happen in that godforsaken place? No one has ever entered there before. Why has that location been chosen for this year's competition? Yi Qingtang's brows furrowed slightly. Logically, this kind of place was not suitable for young, inexperienced students. Just as Yi Qingtang was filled with queries, the elder continued. Everyone, please don't worry. The Wailing Well is dangerous, but we have already sent our people inside before. It is not as dangerous as you might think. Moreover, we will give every single team a teleportation talisman, which will be kept by the teacher in charge. Anytime a team meets with danger, they can choose to back out. You just need to crush the talisman, and you will be able to leave safely. But if that were to happen, the team then would lose their right to... The crowd's expressions remained grim as the elder continued his explanation. The Wailing Well was an unknown place to everyone at present. They had no idea what it was like inside and were completely unable to prepare for anything. I wonder what the criteria are for a team to win. One of the teachers asked. The elder replied, the winner will be the team that manages to remain inside the Wailing Well for 10 days and kills the greatest number of demons. Demons, The elder's words revealed a hint of information. Remaining for 10 days inside the well was not too big of a worry for the various academies. What they were really concerned about was what kind of demons were inside that well. In addition, everyone who enters the well is not allowed to bring any elixirs or special artifacts. Apart from the personal weapon you are carrying now, you're not allowed to bring anything else inside. The crowd was in an uproar. They could not bring anything. What about food and talismans? Someone asked. The elder shook his head. The crowd finally understood the crux of this competition. Food, water, artifacts, elixirs, they could not bring any of those things in. Apart from the weapons they already had on their bodies, as well as the teleportation talisman, they could not bring anything that could enhance their battle prowess. On top of that, they would have to stay for 10 days inside the unknown environment of the Wailing Well and kill as many demons as they could. The unknown environment and special restrictions made this team competition especially strange and mysterious. Previously, some academies had planned to choose 10 martial arts students and give up a spot on the alchemy list. But now, they really had to bring one medicine faculty student. After all, so many things could happen in 10 days. No one could be sure what kind of dangers they would be in without any elixirs. A team had to have at least one medicine faculty student. Are there any herbs inside the Wailing Well? Someone asked anxiously. Without any herbs, there was no need to even think about refining elixirs. Of course, the elder replied. The crowd remained silent. The team competition will be held after all the other competitions, so everyone still has time to prepare. Each academy is allowed to send 5 teams. The elder continued to lay out the rules. Meanwhile, Yi Qingtang listened quietly, taking note of all possible clues. Chapter 2368, Chess 1. Meanwhile, with the permission of Yi Qing, Lei Yin and the rest had already scurried over to the streets of Universe City. Apart from Mu Xing, who was staying in another dormitory, the entire gang was there. Even Jing Zhe and Qin Feng had been dragged along. The bunch of brats lolled around Universe City for the entire morning. Lei Yin bought so many things that his space ring was nearly bursting. At this moment, Nangong Lai and the others finally realized just how rich young Master Lei Yin was. I didn't expect the Lei Tang family to be so rich. Nangong Lai spoke ruefully as he watched Lei Yan's spendthrift ways with longing. They were both disciples from major family clans, but he had to be so much thriftier. What do you know? My father is very generous towards me as compensation. Previously, the elders of my family clan would only scoff at my weak foundation and never allowed me to put even a single foot out the door unless it was for training. And at the academy, there was no place to spend money. This is all part of my own savings. Lei Yin was feeling very satisfied with his shopping spree. He had held on to so much money for so long. It was so frustrating to have all that money and nowhere to spend it. Lei Yin paused. Perhaps he finally noticed the incredulous looks on the faces of his friends. He cleared his throat. Don't misunderstand. These items are not just playthings. We're going for that team competition, right? I'm just preparing for that. We might have use for these items then. Everyone was surprised by Lei Yan's words. Brother, I didn't know you were so forward-looking. Hang Wenwei patted Lei Yan on the shoulder. Of course, our boss is leading the team after all. I cannot screw up. Lei Yan looked very smug. Nangong Lai threw an arm around his shoulder. I say, brother, we are friends who have been through thick and thin together. Don't forget to share your goodies with me. Get lost. You don't want to buy these yourself and am trying to leverage off me? Dream on. Lei Yan shrugged off his arm in disdain. Don't be like that. I'm broke. None of my business. Get lost. The teenagers continued messing around as they returned to the North Hall. Nangong Lai was still trying his best to weasel something out of Lei Yin, but soon enough, a group of people inside the compound attracted their attention. What are they doing? Rendezvous looked at the small crowd of teenagers. Those teenagers were wearing different uniforms from the various academies, but they had all gathered together. A low murmuring could be heard. It looked rather interesting. Let's go and take a look. Lei Yin immediately piped up. They were all energetic youths and at the age where they were filled with curiosity. The teenagers squeezed their way in. In the middle of the crowd was a massive stone table. A chessboard was placed on top of it. Two teenagers from two different academies were playing against each other. The pieces on the board looked different from the usual chess pieces and were in the shape of various beasts. Illusion Beast Chess. Lei Yan's eyes lit up. Illusion Beast Chess was the favorite chess game of the second domain. It was rumored that it was derived from Sea Soul chess. Few people had seen the real Sea Soul chess, but this didn't stop people from spreading this rumor. But actually, Illusion Beast Chess and Sea Soul chess were completely different. There were all sorts of strange strategies, and each player had a Beast King. The player who managed to take the other's Beast King would be the victor. Chapter 2369, Chess 2. When Lei Yan was confined to the Leitang family compound, his only joy was making the other family clan use play Illusion Beast Chess with him. Soon enough, one of the players lost with a loud sigh. His face was grim as he tossed a small, intricate jade pendant over to his opponent. The winner kept the jade pendant with a smile and scanned the crowd. "Who's next?" No one answered. Lei Yan's heart itched. "Let me try." He then sat down promptly. The crowd looked at Lei Yan, who had settled into the seat. Their eyes fell on his Netherworld Academy uniform, and a strange expression crossed their faces. The winner couldn't resist smirking when he saw Lei Yan sitting opposite him. "Buddy, which academy are you from?" Lei Yan was puzzled. Wasn't his uniform clear enough? "I am from Netherworld Academy." "What's the matter?" The winner chuckled. He leaned back a little. "You want to play?" "That's right," Lei Yan answered. The winner looked at Lei Yan with amusement. "Sorry, I am afraid you can't." Lei Yan was taken aback. The person continued. "We have rules regarding our Illusion Beast Chess games. If you wish to play, you need to offer the appropriate stakes." Lei Yan listened. "Stakes?" He immediately took out all his new purchases from his space ring. "Which item do you want? Choose yourself." Lei Yan spoke magnanimously, but the teenagers from the other academies sniggered at his words. They sounded like they were laughing at a fool. The person sitting opposite Lei Yan also laughed. "These lousy items of yours are not fit to use as stakes in this game." With that, he drew out the jade pendant he had won and waved it in front of Lei Yan. "Do you know what this is?" Lei Yan was unfamiliar with the pendant, but Ran Mo's face shifted. He uncharacteristically charged forward and pulled Lei Yan to his feet. "Let's go." The person couldn't resist smiling as he watched Lei Yan being dragged off by Ran Mo, crossing his arms over his chest. He leaned back slightly and lifted his chin as he gazed at Lei Yan and the others. "Your friend is right. It's better that you leave. There are some stakes which are too high for your Netherworld Academy. Playing chess in University is not something people like you can afford." The person's words were extremely harsh. The faces of Qin Feng and the others darkened. Rules were rules. If Lei Yan didn't know of them, he could have just explained, but this person was full of scorn and ridicule. It was clear that he was trampling upon the reputation of the Netherworld Academy. Ran Mo, who was dragging Lei Yan away, suddenly halted as he heard those insulting comments. For the first time, a sliver of displeasure flashed across that babyish face. Spinning around suddenly, he turned and took out something from his space ring. In front of the scornful eyes of the crowd, he slapped the item into the stone table. It was a small jade pendant, exactly the same as what the winner had. "Little Mo, you also have this item?" Lei Yan didn't expect Ran Mo to also have this jade pendant. The person narrowed his eyes at Ran Mo's jade pendant. He sized up this exceptionally harmless-looking teenager. "You are Wu Fengling's disciple." Chapter 2370, Chess 3. "Yes," Ran Mo replied. The person gave a sudden laugh. He picked up Ran Mo's jade pendant and examined it casually. TSK. I knew it. Who else in the Netherworld Academy can get something like this? So you're Wu Fengling's famed disciple. No wonder. After all, President Wu would only give something like this to his own disciple. Lei Yan and the others realized that this jade pendant was no ordinary item. "Little Mo, what is this jade pendant?" Lei Yan asked. Ran Mo didn't answer his question, but only stared back at the arrogant guy. We have the appropriate stakes now. Are we playing? Of course. As long as you can bear to lose it, I welcome you. The person smiled with a shrug. Rendezvous dragged Lei Yin over to the table. Lei Yin felt rather panicked. What is that jade pendant? Little Mo, I don't want to play anymore. It was just a spur of the moment. Let's not play. Lei Yin didn't manage to finish his sentence. Rendezvous interrupted him with a serious look on his face. You need to play. Lei Yin was stunned. What was going on? Rendezvous, forget it. Qin Feng's brows were furrowed slightly. He had no idea what that jade pendant was, but it must definitely be very important. And Wu Fengling himself had given it to Rendezvous. Observing the situation, the person tossed Rendezvous back his pendant with a smirk. Yes, I think we should just forget it. The Netherworld Academy probably only has one of these, so you'd better keep a hold on it properly. After all, you guys are different from the rest of us. This item must be extremely rare and precious to you. You guys cannot afford to lose it. Seeing that the situation was not quite right, Qin Feng instinctively wanted to lead Rendezvous away. But Rendezvous spoke coldly to the person, his face more stern than ever before. Cannot afford it? I insist on playing today. With that, Rendezvous sat down himself. Lei Yin and the others exchanged looks. But they also understood Rendezvous. This person was openly degrading the Netherworld Academy. Rendezvous was being stubborn only because he was trying to protect the dignity of the Netherworld Academy. As Wu Fengling's disciple, the Academy's reputation was naturally more important to him than to anyone else. The crowd observed Rendezvous' insistence. They all started to relish the fact that they were about to enjoy a good show. Rendezvous knew how to play illusion beast chess. Wu Fengling himself had personally taught him. Let's begin, said Rendezvous. A smile played at the corners of the person's lips. He also took out a jade pendant and placed it on the table. With that, the chess match officially began. Lei Yin and the others watched on nervously. But Lei Yin's eyes suddenly brightened after Rendezvous made his move. Little Mo's illusion beast chess is pretty good. Lei Yin always believed that his illusion beast chess skills were rather good. But after watching Rendezvous' moves, he realized that Rendezvous' chess skills were far beyond his. His anxiety lessened. Rendezvous' moves were cautious while his opponent was playing willfully. But a major change soon occurred on the chessboard. After just a few rounds, Rendezvous' chess pieces dwindled until he was only left with his beast king, standing all alone on the board, surrounded by his opponent's pieces which were eyeing it hungrily. Rendezvous took a deep breath and closed his eyes. He had lost. After winning, the person picked up Rendezvous' jade pendant and casually played with it. Thanks. Rendezvous stood up without a word as Lei Yin and the others hurried forward. The person chuckled. You guys probably still don't know what this thing is, right? Chapter 2371. Let me play. 1. The other student paused before continuing. This is called Spirit Jade. It is the license to enter the God Relic. The various academies compete in every inter-academy competition just for the right to enter the God Relic. If I remember correctly, the Netherworld Academy only won one placement in the previous inter-academy competition. What a pity that this placement is now in my hands. The opening of the God Relic was fixed at a certain time, and only a predetermined number of people could enter. But a person could only remain inside the God Relic for 1 day before being required to leave. Meanwhile, the God Relic would remain open for several days. The more jade pendants they had, the more chances they would get to re-enter the God Relic and train. Universe City's Illusion Beast Chess was a betting arena for students who had the jade pendant. The stakes were the number of times one could enter the God Relic. Lei Yin and the others were completely stunned. They knew this jade pendant was no ordinary item, but didn't expect it to be that precious. They all turned to look at Rendezvous. Rendezvous didn't look defeated or distressed at all. His face was utterly calm. Let's go. Rendezvous suddenly smiled. The hearts of Lei Yin and the others twisted the moment they saw those little eye teeth of his. This is all my fault. Little Mo. Lei Yin just wanted to slap himself. If not for his curiosity, they wouldn't have incurred so much trouble. Rendezvous didn't blame Lei Yin at all. The various academies all looked down on the Netherworld Academy. He had done what he did to protect the reputation of the Netherworld Academy. While they may have fallen in the rankings, they must still uphold their dignity. Rendezvous was prepared to leave. Lei Yin gritted his teeth and looked at the smug winner. Apart from the jade pendant, do you accept any other stakes? You can have anything you want. I will play against you. Rendezvous was taken aback. Qin Feng and the others also spoke up. Elixirs, artifacts, anything we have in our possession, you can ask for it. Amusement glinted in the eyes of the person as he observed the gang. No problem. I can give you guys a chance. As long as you can offer up enough items. It was already dark when Yi Qingtang and Wen Qi returned to the North Hall. Wen Qi and the others returned to their rooms, while Yi Qingtang decided to check on her brats. Scanning the place, she could not see any one of them apart from Mu Xing. Yi Qingtang felt a slight headache coming along. She allowed them to go out and relax a bit. But weren't he pushing it? Exasperated, she went looking for Lei Yin and the others with Mu Xing in tow. Hey, did you hear? Something exciting is going on in the back. A teenager told his companion in an excited voice as he walked past Yi Qingtang. Are you talking about those fools from the Netherworld Academy? I saw it. Those fools have no idea what they are in for. To think that they even dare to play chess against Xingrong. Who doesn't know that Xingrong is renowned for his illusion beast chess skills? He has never been defeated before, but they dared to challenge him. What else can they do? They already lost their Spirit Jade. They're just trying to win back the Netherworld Academy's only Spirit Jade. I think they must have already lost nearly every elixir and artifact on them. Yi Qingtang had not taken the teenager's words to heart at first, but she suddenly paused after hearing the words Netherworld Academy and Spirit Jade. Chapter 2372. Let me play, too. On their way back, when she had told her about the Spirit Jade and how the Netherworld Academy only won one in the previous competition. The winner had been a medicine faculty student, and the Spirit Jade was placed in Wu Fengling's care. Not long after, the medicine faculty student died in an accident, and the Jade was passed on to the Netherworld Academy student with the most potential, Rendezvous, the Netherworld Academy, and the Spirit Jade. It had to be Rendezvous. After overhearing those teenagers, Yi Qingtang instantly felt that something very bad must have happened. Wasting no time, she immediately hurried over with Mu Xing. In the backyard, Lei Yin and the rest were looking extremely grim. After several rounds, Lei Yan's space ring was completely empty. Nangong Lai, Heng Wenwei, and the others had also lost everything. My friends, I am truly very happy today. You guys have given me so many presents. How can I ever thank you? Xingrong was grinning victoriously as he gazed at the wretched faces of those few. Now, you don't have anything more to bet on, right? You would probably have to stake your lives now if you continue betting. Lei Yin and the others were trembling with rage, but they were helpless. Their skills were really not up to par. Not only did they fail to win the Spirit Jade back, but they had also lost everything. Since you don't have any more resources, shouldn't you get lost? Xingrong's face changed as he commanded coldly. Who said we have nothing left? Didn't you mention staking our lives? I will bet with you using my life. Lei Yin was consumed with anger. Forget it. Your life is worthless to me. Do you have anything left? If you do, I will continue playing with you. If not, please don't stand there taking up space. Get lost, Xingrong said. You. Lei Yan's face was grim to the extreme. Xingrong's illusion beast chess was just too good. They were no match for him at all. Can I play? A familiar voice drifted over. The voice was like a clear spring, instantly soothing the fretful hearts of those brats. Lei Yin and the others immediately turned to see Qing with Mu Xing beside him. When had he appeared behind them? Boss! Lei Yin was nearly crying now. Xingrong and the crowd of teenagers also shifted their gaze, only to see a mediocre-looking, skinny, frail youth in his 20s. But he was wearing the Netherworld Academy uniform for teachers. A Netherworld Academy teacher? This is getting interesting. Xingrong did not think much of Yi Qingtang. The Netherworld Academy had fallen. There was no difference between their students and their teachers. What? This teacher wishes to play. Xing Rong smiled. Yi Qingtang didn't waste any words, but just sat down. Boss, don't play with him. This fellow's illusion beast chess is really very formidable. Lei Yin and the others were panicking. Earlier, they had lost so badly that they had lost their cool and thrown all reason out the window. Having been so utterly defeated, how could they drag Yi Qing down into the mud with them? Yi Qingtang shot them a steady look to calm down before turning back to Xing Rong. What are the rules? It's very simple. We only play for spirit jades. Your side has already lost the only spirit jade owned by the Netherworld Academy, but I'm an easygoing guy. As long as you can offer me something interesting, I guess I can bend the rules for you. Xing Rong spoke magnanimously, but his attitude was dripping with arrogance. Chapter 2373. Let me play 3. It was clear that Xing Rong had never imagined himself losing. No matter what the other party bet on, he would win. Boss, Nangong Lai was feeling very anxious. He was deeply worried that Yi Qing would take out some precious treasure and lose it to Xing Rong. They would just be widening their losses then. In response, Yi Qingtang silently took out an elixir bottle from her space ring and placed it on the table. Xing Rong smirked at the bottle. Teacher, your students have already given me plenty of elixirs. I don't think that this 9-melody spirit elixir, Yi Qingtang stated. Everyone at present was stunned. What did you say? The smile on Xing Rong's face was fading. There's one 9-melody spirit elixir inside. Premium quality. If you don't believe me, you can get anyone you want to verify it. Yi Qingtang's face was calm. 9-melody spirit elixir? Premium quality? The crowd gasped. The 9-melody spirit elixir was a grandmaster level elixir. They had never even seen this type of elixir before. The various factions would fight tooth and nail over a single pill. But now, this person said this bottle contained a 9-melody spirit elixir. Was he joking? A genuine grand master level elixir could be thrown around like common dirt? Teacher, are you joking? Xing Rong suddenly felt that this Netherworld Academy teacher might be an insane person. I said that you can get anyone you want to verify it, Yi Qingtang repeated. Seeing Yi Qingtang so confident, Xing Rong couldn't help recalling that the Netherworld Academy had once produced that Grandmaster Alchemist. So it was not that far-fetched for the Netherworld Academy to have Grandmaster-level elixirs. But just in case, Xing Rong immediately summoned a few medicine faculty students from his academy over. After their examination, they verified that the bottle did contain a 9-melody spirit elixir, and a premium quality one at that. Xing Rong's blood surged. He had been happy enough just toying with those Netherworld Academy fools and winning some inconsequential items. He never expected to snag such a wonderful prize. The 9-melody spirit elixir was a truly priceless treasure. All right, I will accept this bet. Worried that Yi Qingtang might have second thoughts, Xing Rong immediately accepted. The Netherworld Academy students were foolish, and their teacher was even more so. A Grandmaster level elixir of this grade, they could have just used it to directly exchange for a spirit jade. Xing Rong was secretly smug. He instinctively glanced up to enjoy the desperate expressions on Lei Yin and his gang. But Xing Rong was shocked by what he saw. Their anxious faces relaxed after seeing Yi Qing take out that 9-melody spirit elixir. Were those guys right in the head? Didn't they know how valuable this grand master-level elixir was? How could they possibly not know? But I was nearly scared to death. I was so worried about what boss was going to bet on. Luckily, it's just some elixir. Lei Yin heaved a sigh of relief as he patted his chest. Yinshin also relaxed. Luckily, just an elixir. Xing Rong, what a bunch of idiots. Just an elixir? This was a grand master-level elixir. Those guys had mush for brains. Xing Rong felt that all Netherworld Academy people were truly not right in the head. He didn't know that if Yi Qing had taken out any other item, the hearts of Lei Yin and the others would ache dearly for him. But elixirs. If there was one thing in the world which their boss had in abundance, it was elixirs. Grand Master level elixirs? They ate them like candy. Were they very rare? Chapter 2374. Toying with Someone. 1. Yi Qingtang felt her head ache a little as she looked at her foolish brats. She shifted her gaze and looked at Xing Rong. "And what are you offering?" Xing Rong snapped out of his trance and put on a calm act. "Your students played 5 rounds with me, and these are all the items they have lost to me. I will bet with the items they lost to me during the last round." Yi Qingtang nodded. "Can we start now?" Xing Rong nodded. He was very eager to win the 9-melody spear elixir. Without further ado, the game of chess started. The teenagers from the various academies had heard about the 9-melody spirit elixir, and the surrounding crowd of spectators grew. Everyone was waiting eagerly for a good show. Xing Rong wanted that 9-melody spirit elixir, but he was in no hurry to immediately defeat Yi Qingtang. This teacher was able to offer a precious item like the 9-melody spirit elixir. He might have other valuable treasures. Xing Rong purposely slowed down the intensity of his attacks, trying to pretend that his skills were nearly on par with him, before delivering the final fatal blow. This was to make him believe that he had lost by just one move and instigate him to play again. Everything was going according to Xing Rong's plan. He predicted Yi Qing's every move and gave the impression of just managing to avoid being defeated while secretly controlling the entire match. Many spectators already saw through Xing Rong's intentions and couldn't help but give an inward sigh. This teacher was falling into his trap. The chess match progressed, and the number of pieces on the board dwindled. Apart from their beast kings, both parties only had a couple of pieces left. Xing Rong saw that the moment had come and was prepared to make his killer move. But just as Xing Rong was confidently preparing his attack to end this game, Yi Qingtang's next move was to take his beast king. Xing Rong was in a daze as he watched his beast king get swept off the board. The barely concealed amusement in his eyes was completely dispelled in an instant. What the hell happened? How'd he lose? He had already calculated all of Yi Qingtang's moves. How'd he make a mistake? Every single one of Yi Qingtang's moves was accurately logged in Xing Rong's brain. There was nothing exceptional there. How did the ending differ so greatly from what he predicted? The spectators were all stunned. They had watched so many of Xing Rong's matches, and this was the first time he had lost. And from what they had observed, Yi Qingtang had clearly fallen into Xing Rong's trap. "I won." Yi Qingtang's tone was mild. Xing Rong's face darkened. He must have miscalculated somewhere. Yi Qingtang had beaten him by one move. He must have been too careless. "These are the items which I have lost. Teacher, please take them." Xing Rong composed himself and put on a nonchalant face. Yi Qingtang lifted her chin slightly, signaling for Lei Yin to gather up the items. Xing Rong narrowed his eyes. The 9-melody spirit elixir was still there before his eyes. He would never let go of this chance. Moreover, he had just been careless earlier. He would not give the foolish teacher another chance. "Teacher, I still have quite a number of the items which your disciples lost. Do you plan to win them all back?" Xing Rong smiled. "Of course," Yi Qingtang said indifferently. A hint of a smile flashed across Xing Rong's eyes. "Let us continue then." Yi Qingtang nodded. The chess match started again. The surrounding teenagers were engrossed. Xing Rong was a high-level illusion beast chess player, but this Netherworld Academy teacher was no pushover. It was a close battle, and the spectators watched with excitement coursing through their veins. Chapter 2375. Toying with Someone too? But somehow, every time there were only a few pieces left on the board, Xing Rong would suddenly make a misstep and end up being swept clean by Yi Qingtang. She won by a thread every single time, but Xing Rong was gradually sinking into a loser's rut. In just a short period of time, Xing Rong had lost 5 consecutive rounds. Not only did he fail to win the 9-melody spear elixir, but he had also lost all the items previously won. After placing the newly won spirit jade back in Ranmo's hands, Yi Qingtang prepared to leave. But Xing Rong, whose eyes were bloodshot with defeat, suddenly stood up. "Please wait." Yi Qingtang paused. Xing Rong put on a calm smile. "Teacher, you have only just won back all the items lost by your students. The real match starts now." I wonder if you're interested to continue? Yi Qingtang's expression was mild. She looked completely indifferent to Xing Rong's proposal. I have no interest in your items. Xing Rong took a deep breath. I have 2 spirit jades. I want to play one final match against you. If I win, I want the 9 melody spirit elixir. If I lose, I will give you these 2 spirit jades. Yi Qingtang pondered over it before reluctantly sitting down. Sure. Xing Rong took a deep breath. With that final round, he had already thoroughly analyzed Yi Qingtang's chess play. Yi Qingtang would lose this match for sure. 1 9 melody spirit elixir might be able to exchange for 1 spirit jade. But 2 spirit jades would be a major loss for him. Xing Rong was confident that he had already seen through all of Yi Qingtang's moves. He would not lose again. Yi Qingtang's chess play was very convoluted, and one could be easily tricked if not careful. But now, he had already seen through it all. He would not lose again. Xing Rong was full of confidence. He was prepared to defeat Yi Qingtang in a single move. But this time, the moment the match started, Xing Rong fell into major despair. It wasn't the same. In fact, it was completely different. Yi Qingtang's chess play had totally changed. His previous gameplay was full of genial twists and turns. But now, his every move was like a ferocious beast who had just risen from its slumber. Every step was filled with intense aggression. In the blink of an eye, Xing Rong's chess pieces were all swept off the board. Meanwhile, every single one of Yi Qingtang's chess pieces was still standing. Seeing his beast king surrounded, realization suddenly dawned upon Xing Rong. To kill someone, you must target his goals and intentions. It was clear that this teacher had just been baiting him in the first 5 rounds. Those are not his true chess skills. Xing Rong thought very highly of his chess abilities. He had made use of his own baiting technique to toy with countless opponents. They thought the disparity in skill was not that great, but it was in fact thousands of miles wide. Today, he had planned to use the same technique against Yi Qingtang, but he never expected he was the one who ended up being played by Yi Qingtang. Even more terrifying was the fact that he had only realized the truth at this final moment. Xing Rong's arrogance and confidence in illusion beast chess had now been utterly destroyed. His face was pale, and he looked like a sad, defeated rooster. Sitting deflated in his chair, he was left staring forlornly at his defeat. When his beast king was swept off the board, Xing Rong's hand started trembling uncontrollably. He stared on blankly as Yi Qingtang took his 2 spirit jades. Meanwhile, he had not even managed to even lay a finger on a 9 melody spirit elixir. Chapter 2376. Desperate from his losses. 1. The spectators were all silent now. No one expected such a shocking and unexpected outcome. To think that Xing Rong had lost 5 consecutive rounds. In reality, the spectators had already seen through Yi Qingtang's baiting technique right from the start. But Xing Rong had been too focused on the game to realize it at all. It was a universal truth that a bystander could always see the overall situation more clearly than a party within the situation. Boss, why is your illusion beast chess so formidable? Lei Yin was gazing adoringly at Yi Qing. Does one know the meaning of formidable? This was exactly what formidable looked like. Their boss was skilled at martial arts, elixir refinement, and even chess play. Apart from bearing children, there was probably nothing in this world their boss couldn't do. Lei Yin was full of pep and enthusiasm now. He no longer bore the wretched manner of someone who lost consecutive rounds. Qin Feng and the others were also full of smiles. This youth who looked weaker than most of them was like a pillar of strength. No matter where and when, nothing could shake him. Yi Qingtang glanced at Lei Yin. She couldn't help feeling speechless. This kid was able to recover from a defeat so easily. There were no hidden motives or intentions. It was a good thing, she mused. Yi Qingtang had learned illusion beast chess in the second domain during her previous life, but she had come into contact with this game under different circumstances from Lei Yin and the others. Yi Qingtang did not learn illusion beast chess in the usual manner of family clans, academies, or sections. She had learned in the kind of shady place where all sorts of dubious characters mixed and mingled. Betting on chess matches was quite common in the second domain. In Universe City, the stakes were spirit jades. In the places where Yi Qingtang played, the stakes were your life. Chess skills trained from games where the stakes were life and death were naturally not something which these spoilt brats could match up to. Boss, you truly have unfathomable depths. If I had known your illusion beast chess was so good, I would have begged you to teach me a couple of moves. I might have been able to defeat that little punk then, Lei Yin exclaimed excitedly. He had always loved chess, and now that he knew of Yi Qing's chess standards, he naturally wanted to learn from him. Boss, what other kinds of chess do you know? Teach us. Yi Qingtang looked at the naive Lei Yin. At the mention of chess, she couldn't help thinking of that day in the Temple of Paragon when she played that game of Sea Soul chess with the Sea King. After that incident, Yi Qingtang really didn't wish to see any chess pieces at all. Although she had won by a stroke of luck, the tremendous stress when facing off the Sea King was still fresh in her mind. She would be able to leave in peace after this group of brats got through the Inter-Academy competition. Just as Yi Qingtang, Lei Yin, and the rest were preparing to leave, a glum-faced Xing Rong suddenly stood up and violently flipped over the chessboard on the stone table. Stay right where you are. Xing Rong's eyes were malevolent as he thundered out in a cold voice. Lei Yin and his group paused. They frowned when they saw Xing Rong's dark expression. What? Is someone a sore loser? Nangong Lai sneered. Xing Rong had been so arrogant when he was winning. As many rounds as the rest of them had lost, they had never gone back on their bets. The vein on Xing Rong's forehead was popping out. His eyes were filled with venom as he glared at Yi Qingtang, a Netherworld Academy teacher leading her students to flout the rules of Universe City. Do you think you can leave just like that? Lei Yin and his gang were completely stunned by Xing Rong's accusation. Xing Rong, what other tricks do you have up your sleeves? Who flouted the rules? Nangong Lai furrowed his brows. Chapter 2377. Desperate from his losses, 2. Xing Rong quietly took a deep breath. His face was very dark and malevolent. The thought of losing had never crossed his mind. All he knew now was that he could not afford to lose his spirit jades. How could he let those Netherworld Academy folks take away his spirit jades? Xing Rong composed himself and put up a calm front. What? Don't you know the rules of the Inter-Academy competition? Lei Yin and the others frowned. This was their first time here and had no idea of the rules. Xing Rong narrowed his eyes before smiling. Inside Universe City, chess gambling is tolerated between students, but academy teachers, wardens, and other such personnel are not allowed to participate. If I tell those in charge of the Inter-Academy competition about this teacher participating in chess gambling, he will probably be kicked out of Universe City. Xing Rong was speaking the truth. The various academies turned a blind eye toward those chess matches between students with spirit jades. After all, everyone wished their own students would win more spirit jades. But apart from students, no one else was allowed to participate. However, rules were rigid, while people were flexible. In reality, quite a number of teachers also took part in chess gambling in Universe City. As long as both parties came to an agreement, everyone would turn a blind eye. No one would be foolish enough to report a match which both parties agreed to. But now, Xing Rong was going to be the first person to tattle. The spectators realized that Xing Rong must be desperate from his losses. Those teenagers who used to respect Xing Rong now started to look at him with disdain. It was clear that Xing Rong had agreed to the match. Now that he had lost so terribly, he was suddenly going back on his word. But as disgusted as the crowd was, no one wanted to get involved in this messy situation. Xing Rong, you are purposely trying to stir up trouble, right? Why didn't you say so earlier if you knew of this rule? Hang Wenwei retorted with a frown. He couldn't stand this anymore. Xing Rong was clearly a sore loser. After seeing Yi Qingtang take out the Grand Master level elixir, he had immediately ascended. But now that he had lost, he was dragging out rules to hinder them. Xing Rong knew how the crowd was looking at him now, but he did not care anymore. He sneered. Rules are rules. If you don't wish to have your teacher kicked out of Universe City and miss out on the competition, hand over my 2 spirit jades. I can see that you are very close to him. I guess that he is the teacher who will lead your team in the team competition. If he is kicked out of Universe City at this crucial point, I am afraid your team will lose even more terribly than anticipated. Yi Qingtang's eyes flashed after hearing Xingrong's words, but her face remained impassive. Xingrong, you are so shameless. Lei Yin was enraged. Even a fool could see that Xingrong was just being a sore loser and purposely trying to stir trouble. Just as Lei Yin and the others were getting ready to fight it out with Xingrong, a low voice rang out in a chiding tone. Xingrong, shut up. Xingrong stiffened at that voice. His blustering arrogance was instantly dispelled. Lifting his head, he looked toward the source of the voice. A middle-aged man and a handsome youth weaved their way through the crowd. Teacher, Xingrong was petrified by the sight of the middle-aged man. Chapter 2378. Desperate from his losses, 3. Respect and fear also flashed across the eyes of the crowd when they saw the middle-aged man. That is Heaven Dome Academy's teacher, Jin Qianyang. I heard news that he had come this time, but I didn't expect that the rumors were true. Hasn't Jin Qianyang been in seclusion for a long time? How did Heaven Dome Academy manage to invite him over? Heaven Dome Academy must be going all out for this year's Inter Academy competition. Who is that beside him? That is Kong Luo, a powerful freak who nearly killed Sky Martial Academy's Xiao Yihan previously. He is Jin Qianyang's direct disciple. Whoa, he was able to defeat someone like Xiao Yihan? What kind of freak is that? The crowd was quietly shocked. In the blink of an eye, Jin Qianyang was already standing before Xingrong. Xingrong stood trembling before Jin Qianyang. He exuded fear from every pore of his skin, completely unable to utter a single sound. His lips were pale and turning purple. What happened? Jin Qianyang asked impassively. He was a strapping man, towering half a head over Xingrong, who was already quite tall himself. Teacher, it's them, Xingrong stammered. Faced with Jin Qianyang's dominant aura, he was scared to death and could barely speak. He no longer had the mind to spin any lies, but just narrated the entire incident. But because of his anxiety, his narration was rather convoluted and confusing. Observing the scene before her, Yi Qingtang found it rather strange. Jin Qianyang was a teacher from Heaven Dome Academy, and therefore Xingrong was likely a student. But Yi Qingtang had never seen a student who was that fearful of his own teacher. This was not like the usual relationship between a student and teacher. Xingrong stammered for a long while before finally finishing his narration. He did not even dare to glance at Jin Qianyang, and his hands were trembling uncontrollably. This kind of fear which originated from the core was impossible to conceal. You were the one who borrowed Kong Luo's spirit jade? Jin Qianyang's voice was even. But Xingrong nearly fell to his knees in fright when he heard the question. Teacher, it was an accident. I wasn't wrong. I shouldn't have borrowed senior brother Ian's spirit jade. Please forgive me. Realization dawned on everyone at Xingrong's words. Xingrong's spirit jade didn't even belong to him. He had borrowed it from Kong Luo. No wonder Xingrong had behaved so desperately after losing it. He was willing to shed aside his dignity to force Yi Qingtang to return it to him. Teacher, it's the Netherworld Academy teacher who flouted the rules. They should return the spirit jade. Xingrong was well aware of Kong Luo's status. He did not dare to assume the responsibility of losing the spirit jade. He immediately pointed the finger at Yi Qingtang, hoping to divert Jin Qianyang's attention from himself. But before Xingrong could finish his accusation, he was sent flying across the air as if he had been hit by a massive force, his body finally coming to a stop after crashing into a wall. Jin Qianyang watched Xingrong with a cold eye before suddenly speaking to Kong Luo. Kong Luo. Kong Luo immediately knew what Jin Qianyang was asking. He replied, Master, one spirit jade is nothing to me. Moreover, the Inter Academy competition will be starting soon. By then, we will naturally get more spirit jades. Others need that spirit jade more than me. Chapter 2379. To compete or not to compete. 1. A slight nod showed that Jin Xinyang was very satisfied with his disciple's answer. Lei Yin looked at Jin Xinyang and Yin Kongluo, who had no intention of supporting Xingrong. Jin Xinyang had even beat up Xingrong. He immediately had a good impression of this master-disciple pair. I was still worried that Jin Xinyang would help Xingrong. I didn't expect that he would be so fair. He's not a bad chap after all. Lei Yin looked at the rest, expecting them to concur. But he realized that the eyes of his companions had turned sharper and harsher. What was going on? It must be blissful to be so naive. Nangong couldn't help sighing at Lei Yan's foolishness. What do you mean by that? Aren't I right? He's conceding that Xingrong lost, right? Lei Yin was confused. When did you hear them admit to losing? Nangong Lai gave a cold laugh. Lei Yin frowned slightly. While Yin Kongluo's words were quite polite, unless you were a fool, no one could fail to hear the true meaning behind his words. Yin Kongluo said that he didn't care for one piece of spirit jade. He was confident of winning more at the Inter-Academy competition. On the other hand, spirit jade was extremely precious to the Netherworld Academy, and they desperately needed every single one they could get. Was this conceding defeat? This was the scornful condescension displayed by a powerful practitioner to a weaker party. He was hinting that the Netherworld Academy could only get spirit jades from under-the-table methods like chess gambling. The Netherworld Academy would never be able to get a single spirit jade in the Inter-Academy competition. Qin Feng and the rest heard the ridicule in those words. Lei Yin was the only one foolish enough not to detect it. He even thought they were good guys. Qin Feng and his group were fuming but couldn't say anything. As Yi Qing was present, they had to leave it up to him to settle. Right from the start, Jin Xinyang had not even spared a single glance at the Netherworld Academy folks. It was like they were completely invisible. Although Yi Qingtang knew what Qin Feng and the others were thinking, she would not do it. Without another word, Yi Qingtang led Lei Yin and the others away. Qin Feng and his group were taken aback by her actions. They felt that this was not at all like Yi Qing, but still they followed him. After Yi Qing and his team left, Jin Xinyang also led Yin Kongluo away. Before Yin Kongluo left, he instructed several Heaven Dome Academy students to carry the unconscious Xingrong back. He then caught up with Jin Xinyang. Xingrong's chess skills are pretty good. His defeat today was just an accident. Master, please don't be too harsh. There's no harm done to let someone else win just this once. Yin Kongluo smiled. Jin Xinyang glanced at Yin Kongluo. Chess gambling is not the right way to go about things. Practitioners should fight it out with their real skills and not make use of these side channels. Yin Kongluo said respectfully, Master is right. The Netherworld Academy has already fallen, and even their teacher has to personally participate in chess matches to win spirit jades. I am afraid they themselves are aware that it would be difficult for them to get any in the Inter-Academy competition. I can still afford to give them that one spirit jade. Jin Xinyang was very pleased with Yin Kongluo's confidence. As Jin Xinyang said, chess gambling was a shady practice and was not something true powerful practitioners should take part in. To think that the Netherworld Academy had now fallen so far that they had to rely on such nefarious methods to get spirit jades. They were worlds apart from the Heaven Dome Academy. There are significant changes to the team competition this year. I am very confident in your martial arts abilities, but you must put much effort into this team competition. Since we're going to win, we must make it a spectacular win. Yes. Chapter 2380. To compete or not to compete. 2. Meanwhile, Yi Qingtang had led her brats back to their accommodation. They should have been basking in a glow of victory, but the brats all had rather strange expressions. They did not appear the least bit happy, but looked rather grave and troubled. Yi Qingtang sat on the chair and surveyed the gloomy faces. She felt a slight headache coming. Why are you not satisfied after winning 2 spirit jades? The brats didn't dare to speak. Gong Jinyin was the only one who spoke up after some hesitation. Teacher Yi, the Heaven Dome Academy's ridicule is too insulting. We don't need those spirit jades. Yi Qingtang understood those kids now. In that case, we should throw those 2 spirit jades back at the Heaven Dome Academy. The brats snapped out of their gloom. Boss, you're right. You should just fling those spirit jades right in their faces. The Heaven Dome Academy thinks they're so good that they can look down on the Netherworld Academy. They talked as if we had no choice but to beg for their indulgence. Nangong Lai was feeling very aggrieved. Very logical. I will fling them as hard as possible. Yi Qingting nodded as if she agreed. The teenagers all hurriedly nodded in unison. This was the boss they knew. But Yi Qingtang's face suddenly darkened. You guys have eaten so well over the years and managed to grow big and strong, but failed to develop any brains. The brats were stunned by Yi Qing's abrupt reprimand. Oh, boss, Lei Yin was befuddled. Why did boss suddenly scold them? Fling the spirit jades back at them, just for the sake of venting your anger? You are all too spoiled. Yi Qingtang was so exasperated that she didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Why were the various academies fighting so hard? It was all for those limited spirit jades, right? Yi Qingtang had never entered the God Relic, but she could tell how wondrous that place must be just by how highly regarded it was by the various academies. If Yi Qingtang was still in her early teens, she might have really just destroyed the spirit jade in an impulsive fit of rage, right in front of Yin Kong Luo. But she was not. The 2 spirit jades could let the Netherworld Academy send 2 more students into the God Relic. It could help the Netherworld Academy groom 2 more talented students. If the Netherworld Academy was as powerful as the Heaven Dome Academy and Sky Martial Academy, Yi Qingtang might have done it just to vent her anger. But the Netherworld Academy was not. These spirit jades did not only belong to Yi Qingtang, they also belonged to the Netherworld Academy. Wu Fengling allowed Yi Qingtang to join the Netherworld Academy. How could she bear to let him down and betray his trust? Yi Qingtang had already shed that immature way of thinking. She no longer let impulsive emotions control her actions. Do you think that after throwing away the spirit jade, we will be able to regain our dignity? Without true power, no one will ever hold you in any regard. To regain the Netherworld Academy's reputation, you need to fight for it on the competition grounds. Yi Qingtang spoke in a chilly voice. The brats felt like they had been knocked in the head by Yi Qing. Boss, Jing Zhe spoke up in a timid voice. Yi Qing just continued to stare at them coldly, and Jing Zhe immediately shut up. Get out. If you want people to look up to you, you need to show real power, Yi Qingtang said. Having been thoroughly lectured, the brats wanted to say something but kept silent from fear and awe of Yi Qing's fierce manner. Boss usually treated them with kindness and behaved like a brother to them. He seldom gave them a black face, and so they were helpless at his sudden sternness and had no choice but to obediently leave. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.